Hello and welcome to Unit 7, Strategic Focus and Future Orientation. This unit will focus on an element of the first guiding principle of integrated reporting, strategic focus and future orientation. Specifically, it will look at future-orientated metrics that can be measured and reported. The first guiding principle states that an integrated report should provide insight into the organization's strategy and how it relates to the organization's ability to create value in the short, medium, and long term, and its use of and effect on the capitals. So we have seen in the previous units the importance of connecting our KPIs to the strategy of the company. In this unit, we're going to look at metrics that we can use that focus on the future, that focus on the risks and opportunities that face the business going forward. One such future-focused metric that we'll look at in detail are the financial implications and other risks and opportunities due to climate change. To be future-focused, we need to understand the risks and opportunities that may occur. So let's start by categorizing the different types of risks related to climate change. The first such category of risk is called transition risk. Transitioning to a lower carbon economy may entail extensive policy, legal, technology, and market changes to address mitigation and adaptation requirements related to climate change. Depending on the nature, speed, and focus of these changes, transition risks may pose varying levels of financial and reputational risk to organizations. The second type of risk is physical risk. These are risks resulting from climate change and can be event-driven, acute, or longer-term shifts, chronic, in climate patterns. So an acute would be let's say a flood or a fire, while chronic is a general change or a general increase in temperature levels. These different risks can have many potential financial impacts on a business depending on the nature of the business. These could include increased operating costs, write-offs, asset impairments and early retirement of existing assets, increased costs or reduced demand for products and services, R&D expenditure on new and alternative technologies, reduced revenue from decreased production capacity, reduced revenue from negative impact on workforces, reduction in capital availability, increased insurance premiums and potential for reduced availability of insurance on assets in high-risk locations. However, it's not all about the risks, and there are also opportunities involved in the transition to a more sustainable economy. So, for companies that perform well on climate-related issues, this can have a benefit with regards to resource efficiency. If they use less resources and create less carbon, this means they will have lower costs. Also, energy source use. So by diversifying the type of energy source you use, you can have a more resilient business model. Also, with regards to products and services, if companies create new products, sustainability related products, this could drive revenue increases or sales growth, or indeed sustainable products might have a larger profit margin. Also, building resilience into your business and into your supply chain will prepare the company for the future. So there are many opportunities related to climate change as well, and they have potential financial impacts, including reducing operation costs, increasing revenue, reputational benefits, increased value of more sustainable assets, return on investment in new green assets, increased capital availability for companies that have outperformance on environmental metrics such as its carbon emissions, the issuing of green bonds, and also increased reliability in the company's supply chain. So once the company has identified the future risks and opportunities related to climate change that are material for its business or that matter for its business, these can be fed into the company's strategic planning and risk management. so that the positive opportunities can be grasped and so that the negative risks can be mitigated or minimized, so that these financial impacts of climate change can be controlled by the company. It's one thing identifying potential financial impacts, but how do we quantify them? How do we report on something that hasn't happened? We don't exactly know what the future will be like. There is uncertainty, and there's a number of paths which climate change could follow. So how do we deal with this uncertainty? One tool, a form of what-if analysis, scenario analysis, is gaining prominence. Scenario analysis is an important and useful tool for understanding the strategic implications of climate-related risks and opportunities. It's a process for identifying and assessing the potential implications of a range of plausibly future states under conditions of uncertainty. So we can look at different possible states of the future and see how this would impact the company. Scenario analysis can be qualitative, relying on descriptive written narratives, or quantitative, relying on numerical data, models, or some combination of both. Scenario analysis contributes to a greater strategy resilience and flexibility by allowing a company to test its strategy and strategy options against different sets of scenarios, identifying possible future threats and opportunities, identifying trigger points to set contingency plans in motion, and serving as a basis for continuous monitoring and strategy adjustment. So we've seen that there are many risks and opportunities related to climate change and that they can have an impact on the company's financial position. So what should a company report? What kind of KPIs can they include in their integrated report that are forward-looking? Well, for a given risk or opportunity, be it climate related or related to any issue, the company should report the classification of the risk or opportunity, what type of risk or opportunity it is, and the time frame. Also the likelihood, the probability that the risk or opportunity will materialize. Also, they need to quantify and report the direct and indirect impact of the risk or opportunity. So start off with a description of the potential financial impacts of the risk or opportunity, and then look at how it might impact specific drivers of financial performance, such as the revenue of the company through the demand for its products, the availability of capital, and so on. Next, the company needs to be able to quantify the magnitude of the impact. To do this, it can use a tool such as scenario analysis. Under a given scenario, what is the downside potential for the company? So we can look at the potential downside valuation of the company. So if this risk materializes, how might it impact the company's valuation? And then we can put it as a metric as in downside risk. We can also look at kind of the base case. If nothing is done, what will happen to the company? Then the next question is, what has the company done? So what methods have they used to reduce their exposure to this risk or to mitigate the impact if it does materialize? And finally, the cost that it needs to pay for this mitigation or risk management method. So in this unit, we've seen that we can use specific measures to look at the impact of future risks and opportunities and how these will impact the company, and the strategies or risk management processes that the company has taken to mitigate these risks or to take advantage of opportunities. Thank you for your time and attention, and I'll see you in the next unit.